Where's your disc at?
I didn't.
Got no life without your disc.
No one told me I needed a disc.
Well, that was a movie. Hello, welcome back to First Thoughts.
Yo.
Hi, I'm at the movies.
Oh, okay. I just realized that I never called you back.
You never did. Well, that was a movie. Hello, welcome back to First Thoughts. I'm Simon, this is Justin. My sister just called me. And today we're giving our first thoughts on Tron Ares, which is the third installment in the Tron franchise. We got the first one in 82, the second one in 2010, a break of 28 years, and now this one in 2025, break of 15 years. So that means the fourth one we'll get in 7 years. Can't wait. So, directed by Joachim Roning. It was, of course, based off of the characters that were created by Steven Lisberger and Bonnie McBird, and it was written by Jesse Wicketow and David DiGilio. Sure, all of those things. Real quick, we don't have a ton of time. We've got about half an hour-ish. So, real quick before we get into this one, though, let's talk about the franchise thus far, because my channel's not old enough to have reviewed the other ones yet. I was not reviewing movies in 1982, shockingly.
Well, you haven't gone through all existing movies in the past yet?
No, but rewatching Tron yesterday made me really want to drunk review it. I was like, I forgot. See, I grew up on Tron. It was one of my favorite movies as a kid. Rewatching it was an absolute blast. I love that movie. Hadn't seen it in probably at least a decade, though. This was your first time seeing the first one, though?
Apparently. Now, I had a friend in high school who was a very big fan of Tron, and I really thought he would have shown us the original Tron. But I'm guessing, Tron, whatever the second one was called. Legacy. Probably would have just around come out, probably
2010.
Sophomore year of high school for me.
Sure.
So we probably went to see that with him, or he showed it to us or something.
I'm surprised I wouldn't have gone to see it in theaters. I didn't. I remember I did see it eventually, but not in theaters, which takes me to my opinion of the second one, which, rewatching it today, it was better than I remembered it, because I remember not liking it at all. This time, I thought it was fine. Frankly, I was mostly indifferent to it, but it was fine.
Yeah, second one, I mean, visuals somewhat looked a bit better. The games looked a bit better.
Sure.
But, didn't really care about anything else.
Yeah. The scoring in the second one's great. I mean, the whole franchise, though, as we've seen, the franchise is known for great, and I know you're going to laugh, but great special effects. The first one had great special effects for the time. It was 1982.
I figure it did for the time.
CGI, groundbreaking CGI. In fact, I actually read today that it was disallowed from the Oscars for visual effects because they didn't allow CGI effects to count as special effects yet. Wow. They said, no, that's cheating. You're not allowed to do that.
That's too special.
And so, yeah, it would have won that if it was allowed to, because those effects were groundbreaking for the time. So early on that people were like, no, you're not allowed to use that. So, and then the score is a lot of fun. And then same thing with the second one. The effects obviously updated to 2010. The music is Daft Punk, and everybody knows and loves that soundtrack. I feel like it's also one of, if not the very first times they used de-aging CGI on an actor. And boy, oh boy, is it terrible. But I was going to say it was better at the time. No, it wasn't. I hated it back then, too. But it was groundbreaking special effects.
Sure.
And now this one, everybody's already talking about it a little bit. And it's the things that people are talking about are, the score. I think I've heard a little bit about that, but maybe not as much as it deserves. I love the score in this, too. 9 Inch Nails did it this time.
Always tend to deliver there.
And the visual effects are great. This movie looks phenomenal. So, what is the biggest problem with the Tron franchise typically? The story tends to be a little bit lacking at times. I would say the first Tron, even though it's the best, it still is a little bit lacking. It's a very silly take on the idea. Although it was far ahead of its time. It was before The Matrix. It was like almost 20 years before The Matrix, kind of doing The Matrix style stuff. And it was obviously kind of pulling from a little bit of Star Wars, a little bit of Star Trek, but doing their own thing. one of my biggest problems with Tron Legacy was it felt like it was now copying the things that it influenced, where now it's trying to be more self-serious and boring, frankly, which is why I didn't like Tron Legacy. This movie was not self-serious, and I rejoiced, because it was fun. We made Tron fun again, in my mind. Now, as somebody who did not grow up with the franchise, were you bored out of your mind? Because that's what a lot of people are saying about this.
I probably didn't like it as much as you, and I'm trying to decide whether I enjoyed this or two more. I guess maybe this. I'm pretty indifferent towards each. I will say I do like the, I guess, like, not like the actual special effects, but like the in-world effects. It kind of gets a little updated each iteration.
Yeah.
And this iteration's, without saying exactly what I've been seeing, this iteration's little update was kind of nice. It made some of the choreography pretty interesting for the little bit that it would be included in there.
Sure.
That'd be a little interesting if there was a bit more of that. But
that's something I was going to say, and I think it applies to all Tron movies, is that they've all had good ideas, but I always come away feeling like they could have done more with those good ideas. Especially Tron Legacy. Tron Legacy is definitely my least favorite of the three, and I think that is going to be a divisive point, because I think there's going to be two groups of fans, like Tron fans. Ones that love the campiness and fun of the first one and felt that the second one was too self-serious and boring, and then are going to be happy that this is fun and a little bit silly again. And then there's also going to be the other faction that was like, yeah, well, I'm glad that they updated it, made it serious, took themselves more seriously, and did something more, not edgy, but, you know, it was the fallout from The Dark Knight. Everything had to be darker and toned down, and there's no color in that movie at all. And so they may look at this and be like, what is this? This is stupid. I'm definitely in Group A. I enjoyed this a lot more. I still wouldn't say it was a great movie. I'm fully aware it was just silly, fun, good time kind of movie.
yeah.
But it worked. Mostly. There were certain things like in the first sequel where they're constantly doing member berries or whatever, quoting the first movie.
Right.
Like, it's all in the wrist, he says in the first one he's playing the video game and everyone goes, how did you do it, Flynn? He goes, it's all in the wrist. And then the second one, they're flying something and he goes, it's all in the wrist.
Of course.
In this one, it's not Jeff Bridges who says it, it's a different character says it after pressing a button.
It's
I'm
all
like,
on the wrist.
why'd you say that? I don't understand why you said that.
Because it's the line.
It is the line.
Come on, everyone's gonna jump out their seats and cheer.
Yeah.
Right? They said the line.
So there was
a way worse way, but they said the line.
there was some moments of fan service in this that flat out did not work. However, I can't get into it yet until spoilers, but the fan service in this movie is off the charts phenomenal. And I was so happy. I was giddy watching this movie. Applauding, clapping, well, that's the same thing. Stomping my feet, I mean. I was into this while it lasted because, like I said, there were some great ideas that I wish they used more. They didn't really capitalize on those ideas entirely. But I will say, for those of you who saw the trailer and thought they knew the story, they don't. You don't. There's so much more going on than what's in the trailer, so that's good news. So yeah, to Tron fans, I implore you to go see it because, sure, it will be divisive among fans, but I thought it was dramatically more entertaining than the trailer made it look. And to those of you who boycott everything Jared Leto is in, I'm sorry. This was a decent performance by him. It wasn't like his best, but it wasn't. No. It wasn't, House of Gucci or Joker or Morbius. This was one of his better ones.
Unless you're some Tron mega fan, you're boycotting because of Jared Leto. You're probably fine missing this one. But hey, if you're a Tron mega fan, I guess this will probably hurt your soul here. An actual
if you hate
sequel?
Jared Leto?
Yeah. You hate him, you gotta skip this, and it's actually an okay sequel.
Yeah, no, so, yeah, I'm surprised at myself, too, for enjoying the silliness of it. I think it's because I rewatched the other one, the first one, and I was reminded how silly it was, and so that got me into the right headspace. And then rushing to watch the second one today and being like, man, it's so boring. It made me want some color. It made me want some life, and this had that. Like I said, not a perfect movie. I would still, at the end of the day, I'm probably only going to give it a 6. But it's a fun 6. If it's nostalgic. It's, it reminds me of like the Sonic movies, where it's like, this is my childhood, and it's serviceable enough that I'm having a good time. That's kind of how it felt like for me, or at least Sonic 3. The first 2 movies, those suck. I'll never watch them again. But Sonic 3 and Tron 3, yeah.
See, Sonic 3 just had all my Shadow nostalgia, and it's,
Yeah.
that it was a guaranteed winner for me.
Yeah, that's how I felt about this, except for there was no Jim Carrey, which, disappointing, but I don't know where you would have put him in this. Make him the bad guy, I guess. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
I will say, speaking of characters, though, weird choices. So, obviously, the first one, you have brand new characters. It's a beginning of a franchise.
Right.
And you have some characters that some are iconic, some not so much. I think Flynn, it's Jeff Bridges. He's just naturally charismatic and gonna be, the guy, the dude. And then you've got Tron, who's Tron. He's the hero. He's the savior guy. And then the sequel is obviously then about Flynn's son, so there's a connection there immediately. You grab onto that. And then the bad guy is evil Flynn. So it becomes, it's just, you feel interconnected into this universe already. It kind of feels like the sequel Star Wars series or whatever.
Yeah.
This one is essentially all new characters. There's a guy who's the grandson of the bad guy in the first one, I think.
I believe grandson, yes.
And I'm like, okay. And then the main character is some other CEO lady you've never heard of before.
She and her sister took over the good guys company.
Okay, because Sam just left.
Well, he didn't seem that interested in the second movie either, outside of, I'm taking back the company.
Yeah, well, we got like a Indiana Jones blurb about, he went away and did something, don't worry about him. And it's like, because that actor's not famous enough and we didn't want to bring him back, he wasn't marketable.
I was, when I looked up his name, I was like, oh, okay, I guess I don't remember. Because I remember seeing the movie, and I'm like, I thought somebody a lot more famous was in this role.
No, I think it was one of those things where they thought he was going to be big, and then that movie didn't do well enough to make him big, so he just never blew up. Anyway, overall, good time. Not a great movie or anything, but I think it hits a lot of the right buttons for nostalgia's sake, and I think throws in a couple of interesting curveballs in there too. I'll get more into that in spoilers, though. I want to save that. So, I recommend it. I don't think Justin does.
As someone who didn't grow up with Tron, and didn't just immediately fall in love with Tron watching the 2 movies over the course of like a day and a half.
You didn't love the first one?
It was a lot better than the other ones, but it didn't make me some mega fan.
No.
Now, I will say, You
didn't love the thrilling dialogue when the old guy was like, it's funny you say, here goes nothing, when really, here goes something into nothing. Here comes nothing. That's what you should say.
I did like that.
It's just such a bad line that keeps going and going, and you're like, just shut up.
It was so good.
I was marveling at how bad the dialogue in the first one was, because like you gloss over that as a kid, then you go back, and it's just so bad. Like, I forget the exact line, but like they're talking and they have to let you know that the main character's girlfriend used to date Flynn.
Yeah.
And so they just like ham fist that in there. They just like, she's like, well, we should go talk to him because he has access here. And he goes, well, he used to have access to you too. And you're like, what is that line?
Yeah, it was like, I liked him for his mind.
That too, yeah.
That movie was hilarious because I was convinced for a good portion of that movie that somehow that guy was going to get cucked out of his girlfriend by Flynn. And then Tron kind of does. Like, Tron dies, and she's immediately all over Flynn. And then Tron comes back, and she's still kind of all over Flynn.
Yeah.
And then she just happens to leave. And I guess it works out for Tron, because she doesn't appear in the second film.
Yeah, no, it's funny, too, because it's like Flynn has a missing dead wife. She's just not there.
Yeah.
And it's like, you just didn't want to answer the question of who he married, and then you see, not Tron, but Alan, and you see him, and it's like, so how's it going? Like, you married? What's going on at home? It doesn't get brought up at all. This girl's just gone.
Nothing important. The women weren't important. We'll introduce a new one.
Anyway, so we are going to get into spoilers now. I gave it a 6.
Maybe
even a real soft 6.5. Maybe. Probably just a 6.
I'll go 5.5. I don't feel like I hate it enough for. Well, I don't feel like I'm totally indifferent enough for a 5. But like, yeah, as someone who didn't grow up with Tron,
it's not for you.
This wasn't turning me into a
new
Tron mega fan.
That's fair.
And nothing's been enough like the first movie where I thought, I'm really into the Tron. I just wanted more of the games, I guess. I don't know.
The games were great.
They were the best part to me. Now, some of the Tron's visuals were pretty funny. And some of the computer
jargon
that
all of them is pretty funny. But anyway,
especially back then.
Yeah, they had no idea how computers were going to end up or work or even were back then. But anyway.
I miss RAM.
We're getting into spoilers. So if you don't want anything spoiled, you should go watch it, especially if you're a Tron fan. Go watch it. Please, they need money.
Yeah, if you're a Tron fan,
each one barely makes any money. They make like double their budget back. So please go support this so we can get another one in 7 years. Come back and we can talk about it then. But don't forget to like, share, follow, subscribe, all that. Thanks, guys. Bye. Huh, actually, it is warm. I didn't think I'd need to open that. So Tron, it's interesting, because I was thinking about it. One of the things I didn't remember about Tron Legacy was the, philosophical commentary of it. So I was keeping an eye out to see where they went with it in this one, because the first movie is a pretty straightforward good versus evil story.
Right.
It's some religious philosophical commentary, because it's like, some people don't believe in users. It's fun. It's a little tongue-in-cheek reference to religion. And I was like, that's interesting. By the way, the writer of this never did, anything else. He did, 4 movies total, but then a shitload of Tron and video games and stuff. So I think he just had one good idea in his life and was like, that's all I'm doing.
I mean,
Hands off now.
Fuck it.
But then the second movie became about when the god, the creator, which is Jeff Bridges, what if he's not perfect? And so it becomes like a philosophical thing about that, a la Spy Kids 2, and the creator becomes afraid of his creation. Do you think that's why God hides in heaven? Such a deep line for Spy Kids 2. Anyway, that's essentially Tron 2 is that. Which, like I said, much deeper than I remember Tron 2 being. Unfortunately, the rest of the movie is still pretty boring. This one then becomes a couple of different things. It's asking well, first of all, it's a commentary on AI, and it's talking about, using it for good, using it for bad. It's just a tool. It depends on how you use it. Then it's also a commentary on, what is life? What makes something living? And, is it worth to be alive? And then, of course, the Pinocchio and Frankenstein references are throughout. Yeah, I found the commentary fun. I was surprised I did, too. I wanted them to do a little bit more with it. So you get a scene when he talks to Jeff Bridges, and the scene was fine, but I thought they were going to do more with it. And I thought, because they get into the whole purpose, and, they talk about, what you were created for versus what you want to do. Right. You get to decide your own purpose. It's not just, I forget the other word they use, but, your directive. Yeah. Versus your purpose. And I was expecting them to do more with that than they did, which once again, like I said, is par for the course with Tron. It's usually here's a good idea, and we're barely going to address it. But, I don't know. I thought that was a fun way to take it. I was really expecting Tron to be connected to this story in some way.
Yeah, no, I did expect Tron to show, because, okay, after watching the first one, I didn't expect Tron to really show up again.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot how the second one was connected.
Yeah.
And then it didn't seem like he mattered too much until he...
Yeah, it's funny. It's I already mentioned Spy Kids once. I'll bring it up again. Because, Spy Kids, the name Spy Kids, the movie is called Spy Kids because all of the robot creations are called Spy Kids.
Right.
But then from the second Spy Kids on, they're called Spy Kids because the main characters are Spy Kids.
Right.
This is the same thing in Tron, where the first movie is called Tron because the savior guy is Tron.
Mm-mm.
And then after that, it's just called Tron because, the video game is Tron now. Yeah. And it's so Tron is barely in the second one at all. He's just in there because they went, oh yeah, it's called Tron. Here's Tron. This one, like I said, I said it to you during the movie, I thought Ares was going to change his name to Tron when he became good. I was expecting, because, like, his directive is to make, it's essentially an evil Tron.
Right.
He's like, I'm going to make sure everything is running perfectly. So I was expecting him to then be like, now I'm going to make sure everything is running with equity or something. I don't know. Like, running goodly, not perfectly, but in a good way that is fair and just and or whatever. And then, so therefore I'm Tron now. And that was right there for the taking, and they didn't do it. And then Tron is literally never even mentioned in this movie unless I missed it. Since we are running out of time, I'll get straight to the point. This movie makes it look like the whole plot is, you know, Tron people,
Right.
these digital creations being in the real world. It's kind of like the SpongeBob fish out of water or whatever that was called, where it's a bait and switch where you think
Sponge out of water?
Yeah, sponge out of water, where they think the whole thing is going to be that, and then it's only part of it.
Right.
Granted, they're probably in the real world much more, actually, frankly, than
Quite a bit.
SpongeBob was out of. But still, it was like, I thought that was going to be the thing, and I thought Jared Leto was going to be the bad guy the whole time, but then he turns to a good guy pretty quickly.
Pretty quickly around the movie, I started to realize, I guess he's going to have a turn sometime soon. I thought
I'm talking walking in, I thought this. I realized he was going to turn good pretty quick, too.
Yeah.
But
I guess I didn't know who else was big in this movie, but I just knew Jared Leto was in it. And if you're the only person I know of going into this movie, it's hard for me to imagine you're the villain. Unless this movie's really about its villain.
But then the villain was, the Quicksilver, which I didn't know he was in this.
Yeah.
Got jump scared by him. Just like I was jump scared by, jump scared by Cillian Murphy in Tron Legacy. I had no idea he was in that movie, and he was just there for one scene. I was like, what the fuck? I guess he must have been a fan of the franchise.
Yeah. Listen, it was a formative first movie, and then, a second movie.
Yeah. Which is something I missed, though, about the first one that none of them have carried on, is like the programs are designed to look like their user, and so it's the same actor doing both.
Yeah.
They don't do that anymore, and I missed that. Why don't they do that?
It's too non-complicated. We gotta expand the world.
No, it's cool.
There's just too few programmers in our worlds now for them to have exact counterparts.
It's like Spy Kids 3 when you see the kids in the real world. I'm just gonna mention Spy Kids as often as I can.
Listen, I don't disagree. Spy Kids was formative in both of our lives. Although I have not seen it in quite a while and probably should again.
They're great. Anyway,
especially Spy Kids 3. Yeah.
The best part of this movie, though, which I want to get to, is, so I guess I need to back up. They're trying to find this DNA-shaped piece of coding.
This one line of code that was hidden.
No, it's 2 lines.
It was hidden as 2 lines. That's why I couldn't find it. Because you're looking for 1 line, but no, it's been split into 2.
And wrapped around like a DNA. The jargon is hilarious.
Love it.
It's funny in all of them, but this one especially was silly.
They went over the top. It was. The first one was, playful. You could see the little. You could see the very deep connection to the world of computers and how
that's
they're
how
kind
like
of
coding kind
this.
of almost was back then. They were kind of trying to predict the direction it was going, and they were very wrong. The other two, they don't have excuses. It's just bad. But anyway, so they find this, but it ends up getting destroyed. So then they know, but it's on Flynn's computer, so we need to go to the computer. But this computer has not been updated. This is from the 80s. So when he goes in, Jared Leto goes in, and they mimic the style from the first movie. Dude, the second I heard that they were doing that, he was like, we need to go in, and it's gonna be retro. And I was like, fuck yes, let's go. And yes, I mean, it was straight fan service. They're there for 30 seconds. Best part of the movie by far. I loved it. I loved it.
It is nice to see that style again.
Yes.
I like how the other ones have been somewhat modernized, but they're kind of bland.
Yeah, and that's my problem. Is like, especially they course corrected this one a little bit, but the second one was so keen on being like, we gotta be serious, we gotta be cool, and it's like the first Tron did not give a shit about being cool nor serious. This one, like I said, it course corrected a little bit. I also really enjoyed how we've got 2 rival companies doing essentially the same technology but through different patents, and so they look different. Like when the laser works in the good guy company, it's like in the squares, like in the first one.
Yeah.
But in the other one, the bad guy company, they've got red lasers. And it's like a 3D printer where it builds up all these like attaching pieces around as it's building up, and then they all shatter away. And I was like, oh, that's so fun. That's imaginative to like just not copy and paste. They're doing it a different way because it's a different technology. So I really enjoyed that. The world building was slightly better than in the second one. It was still very vague, but it was still there.
Yeah.
That's why, as a Tron fan, the second one's so disappointing, because there's fan service in the dialogue, but it's almost like they're kind of ashamed of the first one in some ways. Like, they're like, we gotta make this cool. We can't use any of that garbage. This one is like embracing that cheese and then making some of it more modern, but still look like it started here and got there.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think the people that made this did a much better job, and it feels like they were fans. Whereas the first one, I don't know that they were fans. It didn't feel like it. It just felt like a soft reboot, essentially, because it's a very similar plot. It's the sun instead. So, yeah, this one it felt a little fan servicey, but in a genuine, I'm actually a fan. I'm not doing this to make money. I'm doing this because I enjoy the franchise. Don't know that they actually do, but that's how it came across. So that's why I'm like, I actually kind of enjoyed this one a little bit. The other one, not really.
Yeah, I can definitely see why that makes someone who was a fan growing up with this series like this one a lot more than the second one.
I saw somebody on Twitter recently describe Tron Legacy as like the longest music video ever, because it felt like a Daft Punk music video. It's like, you see that the second he goes in and the four ladies come out walking like robots, and then they start undressing him and redressing him. I'm like, what about this is Tron? Like, I was rewatching that today going like, this feels nothing like Tron, and they didn't do that shit in this.
But you see, then he got a disc, and then they tossed disc, and it broke glass.
Yeah.
And they
very boringly,
and then
honestly.
Light bike. As soon as he was on the motorcycle, I'm like, oh right.
Yeah.
I guess that'll pay off.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, I can do this.
Yeah. See? No. The second one's the epitome of fine to me. I would give the second one a 5. I'm indifferent to it, really.
Yeah, this was definitely better than the second one. I'd probably give the second one like a 4.
Really? I didn't think it was that bad.
I'm not completely indifferent to it, but it's just really boring. And then watching it right after the first one kind of hurt it even more.
Yeah, because the first one's so fun. It's so unique too. Yeah. And it's like, it's tough because you watch it and it influenced so many things, so you're like, yeah, okay, went into a computer. I've seen that before. It was like, they were doing that early on. And the CGI, yeah, it's terrible. It was 1982. The CGI's tough, man.
Gosh, watching the first one and remembering all the parodies I've seen and having not seen the movie ever. It's hilarious.
That's great.
Especially all the South Park ones.
Dude. And then, see, like, that's a good example. That's something that I thought of in the moment and just now remembered. That little star guy, I forget his name. He wasn't in the second one. That's like, you know,
yeah.
That's like when, like, you see, you know, a Star Wars fan film or something where they're like, they pick up on these little things that's like, that's what we love as fans. Growing up, I loved that little guy with the, yes, no, yes. And I was hoping he would say no, and he didn't, but he did the yes, which is everybody's favorite. I get it. But, like, that was completely neglected in the second one. They were too worried about being cool and sleek and clean. You can't have funny little side characters. I'm like, fuck you. Give me the weird little guy. I want him, you know? And that's what this gave to me. And I get it. It's a product of, like, that's what computers were like. You had a little weird guy, and then they got rid of that. That's how technology progressed.
Terrible.
So it kind of matches that. I get it. But this one, the second movie felt like retconning. This movie felt like it kind of connected the pieces and showed you how we got there from the other location. So I really appreciated what this movie did. And as far as legacy sequels go, it's one of the better ones. Like, you compare this to, like, the Jurassic Worlds of the world or the Star Warses. This was better than most of those in my mind. I enjoyed it. Are you going to really argue about Star Wars sequels right now? That wasn't my main point. I think those suck.
The new sequels, right?
Yeah. Yeah, not the prequels.
Okay,
prequels are bad in their own way, but they're enjoyable.
At least the first one was just kind of a remake of 4.
Yeah.
It makes it feel a bit better in my heart. Not good, but
See,
better.
I feel about that how I feel about Tron Legacy, though. It's just boring.
It's boring, but I sit there and feel, okay, I can see why you want to kind of reuse this introduction for a new generation.
Sure.
Let's see where you take it, and then I don't think they took it anywhere I cared about. So
I know we're out of time, but really quick, I have to mention the post-credit or semi-credit scene.
Oh, yes.
Which is Didinger Jr., which, by the way, his mom was the most pointless, annoying character I've ever seen in my life. And when she died, I literally clapped. Because her whole purpose was to be annoying and then die. And I'm like, thank you for fulfilling your purpose. Get the fuck out of this movie. Like, literally, we should have that in all movies. Darth Vader should have had his mom going, you're doing the wrong thing. You're bad. You're bad, Darth Vader. Or the Joker. Like, hey, you shouldn't be cutting people's faces open. You should have that in every movie. Have a mom saying, stop it.
It's not a nice thing.
Yeah.
She could have put him in timeouts. Maybe this was resolve this whole movie.
But anyway, so the bad guy from the first movie, his grandson, is about to get arrested and put away forever. So he puts himself into the game in a very dilapidated version of it. And when he gets his disc and puts it on, he gets the helmet, going full Darth Vader, whatever. What's the guy's name in the sequel trilogy? Kylo Ren. He full Kylo Ren because he got the thing like his granddad. I was like, that like got me like, ooh, I want that sequel in 7 years, you know? But yeah, just to recap, no iconic characters in this was kind of frustrating, especially the villains were boring. Like you just got a annoying rich kid with an even more annoying mom.
Yeah.
Some forgettable side villains and Jared Leto who switches sides an hour in.
Yeah.
The main characters are also equally forgettable. You get Jeff Bridges for 5 minutes, which is nice, but he's just there to be like, come on, man. You know, like that's all he does. So yeah, I appreciate they didn't rely on like the Star Wars thing where everything has to be the Skywalkers, but I was like, I would have enjoyed some connection to the other. I guess the bad guy technically is connected, but barely.
That is definitely a detriment to the Star Wars series, but you know.
But anyway, that's where we had thought. We are out of time. We're probably already a little late.
We definitely.
So we're gonna go. But thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to like, share, follow, subscribe, all that. Thanks, guys. Bye.